Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Financial Literacy Awareness Month. Listen, next week is technically the last week. We have 5 weeks in April this year, but this is the final week that we have with our financial expert, Hakeem Webb, who is here to just keep dropping gems about the best ways for us to move forward in this climate, how we should protect our assets, how we can grow our assets, and how we can make smarter decisions. Hakeem has taught me so much, everything from, the mistakes we make with our pensions, the mistakes that we make in keeping our pensions held hostage, so to speak, when we have options to make sure not only we're secure, but our families are secure as well. And so I am so happy to have Hakeem back again for the fourth and final week in this series. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry.
It's been such a blessing, I tell you.
We definitely have to bring you back. We're going to let you rest some because you went straight from the MAGA, Maximize Assets, Grow Abundance community to this 4-week series, but I can't thank you enough. I'm going to say hi to some of the people that are in the chat in a minute, but I just kind of really wanted to recap just some of the conversations that Hakeem has blessed us with. So if you haven't watched all of them, there will be a playlist in the description where you can catch up. So basically, the first topic was all about making sure your retirement accounts are protected, even if you want to leave the US. There's a whole exodus happening, right? People are moving, some permanently, some temporarily, but there are concerns like my money is here, my retirement accounts are here. So the first week we had with Hakeem was all about what to do with your retirement accounts if you are thinking about moving abroad. Then he came back the following week to help us understand all about being a solo entrepreneur and the advantages from a tax perspective. Also, planning for your retirement point of view. He dropped so many gems there. So it was smart money moves for the solo entrepreneur. So 401k myths versus facts. A lot of people think you can only have a 401k if you work for a company. You don't realize that you too can build your own 401k as a solopreneur. So a lot of gems there. Again, that will be part of this is the 5th week. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize that. I misspoke. Oh my gosh. So then on the 3rd week, Mr. Hakeem blessed us with some intel, some insights about the market crash talk, the tariffs talk, and how do we find the opportunities? Where are those opportunities? So he came and dropped gems there as well. Oh my gosh, oh wow. Thank you, Hakeem. I can't say it enough. And then last week, Hakeem came back and came to us with the survival guide for us during a recession, right? The recession word is being tossed around every single day if you pay attention to any news outlet. So yeah, there are survival guides. There are things that the people in the know, like Hakeem, are doing to prepare if and when that word becomes official, right? And so this week, we're excited to also bring Hakeem back to share his knowledge and expertise on how we can retire sooner than later. Right now, the retirement age is 67. That is a big fat 6 and a 7. Average lifespan is only 10 to 12 years more than that. I'll even stretch it to 14. So that in and of itself, we're trying to, not wait that long. But with the current talks for the current administration, they want to see that number go from 67 to 70. And so how do we best prepare ourselves for that change that very well may come so that we don't have to worry about it, right? We don't have to worry about waiting that long and making the best choices with our retirement accounts. And if you don't have one now, what you need to do, right? And so Hakeem is going to share some great tips about that as well. And so, listen, it is the eve. He doesn't even know I'm going to say this. It is the eve of Hakeem's birthday. So give a happy birthday shout to Mr. Hakeem Webb in the chat. We are super excited that he is making time in 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Hakeem. I can't say it enough, but I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share with us exactly, one, what's been going on, some of the hot topics that you've been hearing, and then we'll get into the conversation about, retiring sooner than later.
Certainly, as always, it's truly a pleasure to be on here with you, your viewers and listeners. It's been truly awesome. I appreciate this. It's like our own little town hall meeting. It really is. And days of old, I used to do town hall type of meetings, or meetings within an NAACP chapter, the church. Of course, I used to do a ton of seminars twice a week, roughly 4 times a month, and help people with these types of things. And I just appreciate you and thank you, because it sometimes, if you're not really with the people, you can lose touch. You can be in your own little bubble. So I tend to run a trifurcated business model, which allows me to have access to institutional type people, leadership CEOs, CFOs, government personnel, Fed people, Treasury people. And then you have, regular working class. And then, a community give back, those who have transitioned, whether it's out of prison, the streets, life throwed them a curveball, you name it. And so we tend to spend our time as such. And this has just been great as an added component. So thank you again. And I think a good way to start is to run down what happened in markets today.
I'm trying to do a heart, but it's not
working. Oh, I tell you, Kim is just awesome. Let's run down the markets a little bit today. So markets started off with a bang again today, and then it began to retreat, and it's very, very sentimental going on. Every word is just looking for another reason to take another leg down. Many of us believe there could be as little as a 5% correction from here further. Mid numbers about 10. And then worst case scenario is ranging between 15 and 20. And why that last piece is a little longer, because some technicals kick in. And once you break various levels of support in the market, it has the potential to go even further down. Not to bore you for terminology, it's an old stat. If you remember stats, Fibonacci's, so to speak, how things revert to the mean and then kind of keep going back and retrace and retrace and retrace. And so, I'm somewhat in the camp between 10 and 15 personally that we can see. And likewise, we could very well have it the other way, because this is a great deal of this is self-imposed. And some people speak about that to a great degree. It really is self-imposed. Nevertheless, I'm in a camp that I'm glad it's being imposed now by the president, because it's better if we go into this and try to structure it versus the market, the capital markets force us into it. And if, many of you are old enough to know when Europe in itself was going through challenge, Greece was going through challenge, they was experiencing many different bankruptcies, Asia in the 90s. So when your country cannot finance things, and we're there, we are there. If your country cannot finance things because of the debt, the debt burden on the country, markets and capital markets will force you into austerity. And you have no control when that happens. And if you as a country enter into it, you have a little control. And so that's really what I speak about. The president's people really don't seem to have a plan, or I should say a normal type of plan. They have a chaotic plan, and it's not chaotic because they're not smart. Let's dispel that. It's chaotic by choice. It's like the president has read the 48 Powers of Law. If you ever read that book, The Days of Woe, because he seems to operate like that ever since knowing him in the 80s and 90s in New York and so forth. So he still seems to operate that. So on the Dow, we ended at 419, S&P 88, NASDAQ 416. I left the round numbers off. But the day before, the Dow was up 1,000 plus points. It pushed close to 1,000 a day, retraced back on the news, and it's after hours is trading down. So you're in this, man. You're like this, and you're wondering what should you do. And we covered a great amount of that last time in all of the previous shows. So I want to focus us on full retirement. And when you hear full retirement, a couple of things let's just clear up. One, it does not take age to retire. It takes money. Let me say it again. It doesn't take age to retire. It takes money to retire. Now, the age that we are speaking of is specifically to Social Security full retirement age. And for many now, it's 70, and they're looking to push this back some more, so it could potentially go to 71, 72, etc., depending on what they do with entitlement. So you can get rid of all the discretionary expenses, the expense that Doge is going after. That's going to help, but it's not going to get this debt where it needs to get. And in order to do so, you're going to have to touch this. You're going to have to touch these entitlements, Social Security, and things of that nature. And that's what they really just keep pushing down the road, kicking the can down the road. And no one wants to go after senior citizens because they vote and they've not handled things properly. And this is where you have to go after it. So that's what we're talking about, age 70 for retirement. But you can retire at 62 and collect Social Security. You'll collect a smaller amount, 66, depending on when you was born. And so, when you think from 1943 to 1954, your full retirement will be 66. And we have some people on here that's in that age. If you 55 to 59, 66, but you get 10 months for those born in 1959, and individuals in 1960 or later, the full retirement is 67. And then after that, my age group, you're going to be 70. But your retirement what makes up your retirement or your replacement income should be 4 buckets. Social Security is 1 bucket, and it should be the less of the 4, because it's not a whole lot of money we get for Social Security underneath the current program. And so that's 1 bucket. Your pension, for those who have it, especially in the age group, they should, many of them do. That's another bucket. A 401k, 403b, 457 is a 3rd bucket. And you can put individual investments, savings, and so forth as the 4th bucket. And a combination of retirement could be Roth IRAs. That's going to be in there as well. Solos and other things. That's all in the retirement, 401k, 457, and 403b. So those are your 4 buckets. Then you have entrepreneurial business type of income, passive income, to keep adding on to that. And given inflation, I like to tell people you want to be about 85%. You want to replace about 85% of your current income. And another way to think about it is not financial security, but financial freedom. And yours is different than mine, as it is Kim's and everybody else. And so you want to say, here's how you are living now with your current income, current expenses, your current lifestyle. And you look back and you say, hey, I'm okay with this kind of lifestyle going into retirement. And here's what it will take to maintain this in retirement. Or you can say, I want to, have a greater type of lifestyle going to retirement. So that means you're going to have to make some changes if you're not living that way now. And there's other factors. Maybe you don't have a mortgage. Maybe the kids are through college and things of that nature like that. So you can factor that, of course. expenses go down for the most part. Normally, after the third year, your expenses go down. The first three, they kind of go up, is what we see from our clients who we've retired. And this is not hyperbole. I've literally retired over 100,000 plus people. Literally, that is not hyperbole at all. I've retired over 100,000 people of a 30-year time career.
I know who's not working till they 67, 70 or anything above when I could walk, talk, be as healthy as possible. So thank you for, overemphasizing the fact that I'm taking notes. It does not take age to retire. It takes money, honey.
Takes money.
And so we are here to, this platform, as you know, I didn't even introduce myself. So anyone who's new here, I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. Welcome back to all my old OG Gem Nation family. But the goal here is really to provide information, aka gems, for us to live the type of life that we deserve to. That we don't have to work until we're 70, 75, until we can finally, do the things that we want to do. And so with great minds like Hakeem, we're going to keep getting, we're not only going to keep getting the message out, Hakeem is making himself accessible to this community to help you personalize what that number looks like. So you too can be part of the 100,000 plus number that Hakeem is helping retire, right? And so his information is pinned to the top of the chat. It will also be on and off of the screen. Please reach out to him. He has a great, listen, I'll call it a giveaway, but it's not a giveaway, right? He has a great offer for this community. It is a paid offer. So when you contact him, please understand that he has discounted this drastically. And so Hakeem, before we get into the actual information, one, just remind them how they could get in touch with you and tell them about the offer.
Absolutely. Best way, definitely go to our website. If you go to the website, www.ncfainc.org. We restructured that website about a month ago to put the infrastructure in place to accommodate hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people going there and taking action on different things and reaching us. And the infrastructure is there. The back office support is there. And it pings me all the way through. So that is certainly the best way to go, whether you're on the chat box, whether you're on the contact, or you're taking action and open up an account, or you're booking an appointment. Now, for the financial planning, this was something we extended. It really comes out of what we do for employees at so many different employers, that we assist their employees with their retirement plan at work. University System of Georgia, New York Health and Hospital employees, Delta, American Airlines, all the airlines, Coca-Cola, Georgia Tech, which is part of University of Georgia, Georgia State, Kennesaw, UGA, that whole system. Same thing in North Carolina, University System of North Carolina, and others. Children Healthcare, Piedmont, Emory, City of Atlanta. So Siemens, Microsoft. So if you're in one of these major institutions, we work with many of the employees there, and we give them hyper-personalized advice and recommendation and manage their retirement plans at work, versus calling an 800 number and you keep getting a random person all the time. That person almost never knows what they're doing when you get through the first call. You got to go to the second call. You get frustrated and you hang up, or you try it again, or you may get to the third call that may know something, or you're going to pay them to really get advice. But you finally get someone and they say, you asking them real specific questions and they can't give it to you. They can only give you guidance by law. And so many people over the decades have been frustrated. So we've customized a business model to help those individuals. And since we know you cannot really maximize your retirement plan and retirement plan properly if you don't look at other things, your expenses, your debt, your mortgage, your child finances for children, student loans. I'm going to say something about student loans too, because I've got some emails leading into today's meeting making reference to garnishments if you defaulted on your student loan. So I'll give some tips on what to do with that as well if someone fits in that category, because I've got a couple emails on that. But you got to look at your entire picture, and then you can properly plan for retirement. So our planning piece does that. And for our employee base, we just pass on the setup charge, which is $100. And then we do comprehensive planning. It's normally $150 an hour minimum to speak to me, with a minimum of 2 hours minimum. And then the plan itself is $1,350 normally, and it can go upwards to $11,000. So depending on your assets and your estate and so forth of that nature. So it's $100 to Kim with the gym group of people that's all tuning in here and enjoying what she's delivering. It is annual. It's like your Amazon Prime. Think of it like that. And that's really what we built it on. We said if everybody has Amazon Prime and they're going to give Prime $100, and Amazon is making tens of billions of dollars to do that, we said, hey, we can get the regulations to allow us to do it, because people pressure point can't be more than 100 because they're giving it to Amazon. And we got the regulators to allow us to do it. They saw that we're not diluting the plan. It's a full comprehensive plan. All the certified financial planning components that you get there. So you're going to get that. Now, someone have asked me, I noticed it's an annual renewal. Yes, because your finances are reviewed quarterly and annually. And just like you have an annual physical, you need an annual financial checkup, because it's a financial plan is a journey. And unless you are, ending your journey this year and you paid your $100 and you have nothing else to talk about the next year, it's $100. You don't have to renew. If you do renew, that means you keep having us advise, getting access to our professionals, and you don't have to pay $150 every time you call me. Now, we're not going to hunt you down if you call and don't go through the planning, booking first. We're not going to do that. We're not a financial planning cop. We're not going to do that. And so we're going to say, guess what? We share with you. You do it. Amen. You have your meeting. You're guaranteed 2 meetings minimum, and so forth. And that's typically what it should take. And then we go from there.
And Hakeem may not hunt you down, but I'm gonna make a few calls. So I'll just get it. But saying all that to say, for anyone who has quality white glove financial advisors, you're paying way more.
Absolutely.
Way more, just for the setup alone. So you're already saving the $1,350 plus the $300 that he mentioned. So do me a favor, please don't make me look bad when you call and set up these sessions and expect this to be done at no cost and or for free. This is a business. So I'm not going to harp on that too much, but I just want to once again thank Hakeem for making this offer. I thank Hakeem for giving his time and his talents to this community, because he really doesn't have to. Hakeem is a busy man. And so he already told you the companies he works with. So again, I just want us to all take advantage of this if we can, so that we don't have to work until where, we can liberate from these jobs, quote unquote, at a much earlier age in life. So I, again, thank you for that. So Hakeem, do you want to start by talking about the student loans? Just let me know what.
Yeah, let me touch on that, because that seemed to be near and dear to few, because I've got some emails on that. And so if you have a student loan and you've defaulted on your student loan, there's technically 5 things you can do technically. One of them, I think it's really shouldn't be part of the 5, but it is. So you can pay it all off. But like many things, when you are dealing with financial challenges, and when people give you those kind of options, you laugh at them and say, well, if I could pay it off, I wouldn't have fell behind. But yes, you can pay it off. You can ask for a loan rehabilitation. This is where you enter a rehabilitation program. by making 9 consecutive monthly payments based on your discretionary income. And then this can remove the default from your credit report. So that's the way you can go as well. You can consolidate by getting a loan. You can get a loan and consolidate it. Try to put on your credit card because that's going to be a double-digit interest rate versus a student loan that's probably in the 3-4% rate. So I wouldn't go about the credit card route unless there is no other option. You can request a hearing, and so when you request a hearing, especially if you're in garnishment, this causes extreme hardship, obviously, and a lot of times what's obvious to the person that's going through it, that's experiencing that financial hardship, the person on the other line, they're like just robots. They're reading through certain things. They have a job they're going to do. They got to collect this. They got to get it back on. And so they don't necessarily have compassion, so to speak. But so you can request this hearing, and then you can dispute it and request a hearing to potentially reduce the amount that you've been paying based on your income and other expenses you have in life. So you can request that hearing. And then you can move into what's referred to as an income-driven replacement plan. And that too is going to adjust your payments to a percentage of your income, which will certainly help you manage the payments each month going forward. So those are the 4 things you can do if you have experienced garnishment of your wages because of student loans, outstanding student loans.
Thank you, because I know a lot of people are concerned. And I think it's great timing that you're here this last session, because if that is part of your concern, you should be looking at your holistic
That's correct.
Financial journey, right? What your goals are for your finances, or for what your goals are and how your finances can help you get there. And so as Hakeem shares, and you can even see as his back banner, it's all about financial freedom and the road to financial independence, financial freedom. And part of that is any debts that you have, including the student loans. And so book with Hakeem so that he can help you put the whole puzzle together, right? The whole puzzle, and not leave any pieces out. And so I know there were some other topics that you wanted to go over as it relates.
Let's touch a little bit on this retirement stuff again, and the pros of waiting to 70, the disadvantage of waiting to 70 to get full retirement, because there are some pros and some cons, and especially within our community, the Black community, because Black males really actually live to age 68 according to most recent life expectancy. So if you live in a 68, not that you are planning on, wanting to die, but if longevity is not in your family tree, you're probably thinking, let me get this at 50 if I can. That's what you're probably thinking. But if you get it at 62, which you can, it's a reduced amount. And as a Black male, unfortunately, you 6 more years, give or take a few. So that's a lot of things. That's pretty much a lot going on people's mind. Like, they don't think they're gonna live to 68. I can remember growing up in New York, and they used to tell us back then, as a Black male, you may not even make it to 25. And if you do, you may end up in prison. And so, I just don't confess these things. I don't believe them. I don't line up with it, but I don't want to be derelict and not give you the stats. And then female go a little longer. They go to 75. Women always outlive men, but that's 75. I'm sure everyone that's watching have someone in their family that worked. I mean, they was doing good, and they finally retired, and within months to a year, bam, they died. And it comes like that, like, holy cow, they was doing great until they retired, and they don't get to maximize life in retirement. That's really why I purposed in my heart to tell people it does not take age to retire, because my mom passed and didn't get a chance to do that. My dad did get to retire from driving a city bus in New York, and I helped him do that. Literally, while I was in college, I helped him to get his dream home. And at the same time, he lived to, early 70s, but man, we wish we would have had him longer, especially 25 years driving a city bus. You wish you would have had way many more years with him. And so, for me, I want you to retire on your terms. Another thing I've coined. And I retired. I had retired at the end of 2008. So I eat my own cooking. I was able to retire. Then I came back into the business. And so, I've done it for myself. And like I said, I've done it for so many others. So the pros, what's the pros? If you go to age 70, and if you can, you actually going to get 124% of your full retirement income from Social Security. And you can actually get up to 132% if you go to 70 versus 66, 67, except and so forth. So in the way you calculate that, each year that you put on delay, they increase you by 8%. So if 70 is the full number, you go at 63, but then you have 7 more years. Or if you go at 60, 66, 67, you just take the 8% times the number of years to 70. That gets you a percentage, add the 100 to that 32 or 100 to that 24, and you get 124% of your retirement income. That's the math behind it. And so that's how you can get up to 132% of your full retirement income versus the monthly amount you see. So that's a pro. But you have to plan for that. You have to plan for that, and you use that replacement income of 85% of your income. I like to use that. I've never 30 plus years in the industry, even before being in the industry, just because I've seen too many things in my family and community. I never believe in the quote unquote 60-40 portfolio, 60% equities, 40% bonds when you go into retirement, or 80-20, 80% bonds, 20% stock when you go into retirement. I never believed in that. And I dealt with regulators a ton of years, written papers on it, you name it, to push back against compliance. I had a client in Queens. She's since passed. She had millions, and she was like 70, mid 70s. I had her like 80+% still in the market. And I mean, the regulators was giving me heat. Her family gave me heat. They literally tried to sue me because there was like, this is dereliction of duty, da 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 da. I put in a unique strategy, unique structure, and I can say it was a product out of Manulife / John Hancock. Because if you see the John Hancock banner behind Boston Stadium in Boston, my partner and I were responsible for getting that banner in that stadium. With the amount of business we did with John Hancock, and we helped them to get that thing behind the stadium. And so, she wanted to leave all the money to the grandchildren. So the risk tolerance wasn't to her, it was to the grandchildren. And I was running the money based on her goals and objectives to leave it to the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She was, Lutheran. She was following biblical principles where, a good man leave an inheritance to his children's children. Her husband did for them. She carried it on, and her children's children. And so we ran the money that way. The kids wanted the money, and that's what they was going after. And then ultimately she passed, and the market had tanked in the early 2000s, come out of the .com. Her account didn't lose a penny. It actually went up, and based on the structure. And so their attorneys said, "You're kidding me. This man has actually, quadrupled your amount of money. It's set up for the children." And regulators was like, "There's nothing here." And the children actually pulled it and said, "Holy cow," because they had money at Merrill, and they was getting smashed, and they had money at Fidelity. And this particular account just blew it out because it was a protection on the floor. We protected her on the floor so that she couldn't lose money. So therefore, you don't have that much roll to make up when your account is declining. Because if you're down 15%, in order to get back to zero, you got to earn 15%. And during that time, the S&P averaged 11.54% since its inception. So that's actually almost impossible to do. And so we managed it that way. And so they ultimately kind of put my picture on a mantle of the family for what we did and celebrated. But we had great notes, and she, I mean, her legacy went on. She got wine vineyards in Pennsylvania. It just was a great thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So, you want to be mindful of that. And then you have inflation. Social Security cost of living only went up 2.5. We just finished the inflation through COVID that people who didn't, know inflation exists. Inflation has always existed. So if cost of living is only 2.5 and you're heavy in fixed income, which averages between 4 and 7 at best, normally 4 and 6, well, geez, you're getting 2.5 taken right out for inflation, which averages normally about 3. And if you're getting 6, you really only earn 3%. And every time they go up on something like eggs, milk, bread, you won't be able to live. So you still manage your money based on your risk tolerance, not just an age,
right.
and let that money keep growing for you
right.
so that you don't have to rush to get it at 62.
Right. Listen, I don't call myself retired. That's not what I label myself as, but I am liberated from corporate America and have been since 2018. It can be done. I am not going back to corporate America. I will continue to do what I love. Like if it means consulting with corporate America as a, independent consultant, then that's one thing. But having shackles that require me to be in an office any amount of time, gives me stress and anxiety. So I do know it can be done. I also know that it's not too late, right? As long as you have the right strategy in place. And there was a recent news story about a federal worker who had been with the company, I want to say nearly 30 years or at 30 years, but she couldn't retire yet. Because of what's going on with the gutting of the different federal divisions, her job was at risk. And she ends up going to work and having a heart attack. And
oh, wow.
While this was recently, this was the past couple of weeks. And while, no one's going to definitely pin the stress that she was facing of losing her job to, her losing her life, stress does Kill. What was that? That was on In Living Color. Kill. Anyway, stress does do damage. Exactly. And so we want to make sure that whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are related to your retirement, make it happen and do that with the right guidance. Do that with someone who's licensed. Don't listen to these people on the interwebs and the internet that don't know. They're going based on what they learned from somebody else on the YouTube, right? So find you a good professional with great service that does things like annual reevaluations of your portfolio, quarterly updates, all of that. Make sure you get so you can make the right decision. So I know you had some other information that you want to share. Do you want
to let's go to the slide.
Okay.
That should take us maybe 5-7 minutes, and then we can go to questions. But that financial planning piece, we're going to earn the right to be your trusted advisor, and we're going to earn your right to manage your assets. And that's a daily, weekly, monthly, annual thing. But at any point in time, if for whatever reason we no longer have earned the right to manage your account, you find another advisor. And we don't have any commissions, no proprietary products, so there's no surrender fees. You didn't pay a commission, and I made as much money as I can on the commission side. No, when you do better, we do better. And so here's another strategy, and it ties into also what we did with become an entrepreneur for do for self, DFS, versus DEI, do for self. And so there's many people that are talented, and you enjoy what you are, what you've been doing. You enjoy being a professional, and you're not ready to just go out to pasture and just sit and watch the grass grow. You still want to stay active. And, for those who are retiring before 59, you run into a challenge because when it's time to pull money out your retirement account, there's a penalty if you pull it out before 59. It's a 10% early withdrawal penalty. So you don't want that. And then ultimately, you may say, geez, I'm pulling my money out too soon and I'm paying the taxes. So you have that challenge. So there's several challenges. And yet you want to start a business. So I think I may have mentioned this once before. I backed off with Chick-fil-A when, they started treating the best president we ever had in history wrong. And I backed off of them and I really don't patronize them. However, I do believe in shareholder activism. I believe in ownership. Contrary to popular belief, instead of eating a whole lot of Chick-fil-A, they have tremendous service. They have a tremendous product. But instead of eating a lot of Chick-fil-A, I would put my name in the basket, if you will, to become a franchise owner. Out of all the franchises in America, they're one of the best run franchises out, no question about it. But they don't have a lot to become a franchise owner. It only costs $10,000 to become a franchise owner with them. $10,000, period. The other ones cost $250, $275, $300, $500,000. You can be a franchise owner with them for $10,000. That's not bad. So, how would I get to 10, Hakeem? I'm going to take a loan. Well, how can I start my business? How can I start another franchise? I've helped several people start businesses and franchises, and they've used their retirement account, which is what ROBS stands for. So you have a retirement account at work, at least $50,000 or more. You want to start a business. You don't want to get a loan. You don't want to pay hefty, interest rates for that. You don't want to get a loan. You don't qualify for a loan. And I love it when these so-called experts always keep talking about Black people don't have access to capital. And one, you have billionaires saying they wish Black people had access to capital. And for whatever reason, the light doesn't go off to say you're the capital. You're worth $6 billion. You're worth $2 billion. Stop wanting a government loan to give your people access to capital. You're the access to capital if you got $1 billion, $2 billion. Start making loans to your own people. Or if you're not there and you have $50,000 or more in your retirement plan, make a loan to yourself. Or actually, not even a loan, you're going to roll your money over into a C Corp. The C Corp is going to buy shares with your retirement plan. And then you're going to use those dollars to finance your business or franchise through your retirement plan. And you don't have penalties, you don't have taxes, you don't have all that withdrawal fees, and you finance your own business. You got a C Corp, you got stock, and now you're operating a business. You can go to the next slide, please. And basically, this is what you get when you roll over as a business starter. And part of what I just made reference to, understanding how it works, you are going to roll your assets over just like you would anyway. 99.9% of the time, we're rolling assets over out of employer plan into your own IRA. In this case here, you more likely would have done that. We help facilitate with the experts to get it structured in a qualified type of a plan for you, where it's a qualified employer type of plan, and that employer plan is going to buy shares in your C Corp, and that C Corp allows you to go ahead and start operating. You finance yourself, and you can just run your business with your retirement plan. And we have the legal team behind. We go to the next page. This is really the how-tos. You create the C Corp. You set up a 401k plan for your C Corp. You roll your assets into it. The company buys it. It's called the qualified employer securities. So the securities of that C Corp becomes purchased by the retirement plan, and down it's a qualified employer securities within that retirement plan, preserving the tax status underneath the ERISA Act, which retirement plans are governed by. And then the company plan buys those stocks, as I mentioned, and then you use those funds to start operating your business. Some of the questions I typically get asked with this, it speaks to, it's using my 401k to fund my business, a tax loophole. It's not a tax loophole. It's actually part of the tax structure built into your retirement plan. underneath the ERISA Act, and Congress wanted to help people to make sure that they can maximize their retirement savings and give them ability to save for retirement in a tax structured way. And so it's really like an extension of it and part of it. What is the max employee deferral? That's a dated piece. We did this in 2 episodes ago. And to put money into your retirement plan now in 2025, it's $23,500 up to age 50. If you're 50 and over, you have a catch-up provision of $7,500, which will add to that. But that speaks to 2024 or 2023. But that number should be updated, and I'll have that for the next time. Can I pay myself a salary? Absolutely. In fact, it's going to be encouraged by us to pay yourself a salary. Many times as entrepreneurs, and during my time as entrepreneurs, I didn't pay myself a salary. I poured all the money back into the business. But truth be told, when you finance it as such and you have the operating capital, yes, you're going to put it down as a salary. And that is a great way to start pulling your, paying yourself indoor, pulling your equity out as well. So yes, it's encouraged to. Next slide. This is just some of the reasons why you want to work with us. We have an experienced team. We have a good legal team to help with the structure. With this, you're going to get expert advice. And since 9 out of 10, we've been managing the assets for you. We know your risk tolerance. We know your investment appetite. We know your goals. We give you a full written plan for your financial plans. And somewhere along the line, as we've been working with you, you've made a comment that you want to own your own business. You want to go into business. Hakeem, you either had to retire with them forcing you out, you took a buyout, or you did it on your terms. Either way, you sit and say, well, geez, I'm just not going to sit here and do nothing. I can do daycare. I can do, I can move into a trucking business. I had someone to just share with me about a trucking business, which we've advised many people into that space. Some people, my sister retired. I retired her last year from City, New York. And she now she does a lot of, arts and craft, making things, hats, glasses, cases, bags. She does this. She's making a good income. She had to, move from a sole proprietorship into a legal entity, and now she's doing that for a time. So there's many things you can do. You may want to have a petting zoo. You may want to have something dealing with dogs, something you always want to do all your life, and you want to train dogs and become the next dog whisperer because you like dogs and animals. It's a ton of things you can do, or you can use your dollars to finance somebody that actually has a business plan, a business idea. They can't get financing, quote unquote, access to capital. You can be their partner and establish that and do it in a tax strategic way. And then also don't have to worry about a loan. Next slide, which should be the last. And these are just some of the extra benefits of working with us. We're going to get you access to outside counsel to help this. We encourage you to have your own counsel, but we help you with that. We speak about putting all the different technology to work for you that we have. We have in-house plan administrators that know everything and anything about retirement plans and the various laws and so forth. If you think about all of the custodians, Vanguard, Fidelity, BlackRock, T. Rowe, Schwab, these are a lot of the companies that we have relationships with, and we offer their investments and funds. And so we pull TIA, we pull on many of their legal team to help us when we come against something we may not know in-house or extended to us. So we have multiple extensions to run things by many smart heads. So just a lot of great things. And most importantly, we don't do commission work. We don't have proprietary work. We do everything based on a fee as fiduciaries. So when you do better, we do better.
Thank you, Hakeem Webb. Listen, y'all, the thoroughness of what Hakeem offers is best in class. That's all I could say. It's best in class. And many people will probably not take advantage because of fear, right? You will be scared when, if you're not in a position where you're ready right this second to make certain moves. That's why you hire experts to help you get in position. Anyone who starts playing a sport, you need a coach. Like, you're not going to become a Mamba. Oh, I don't know if you have to see my book, but I keep Mamba mentality book. I keep a Muhammad Ali book. I keep a Serena Williams book. So I see them every single day, the covers, because you only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, which is why you hire people to help you out in the areas that you don't know. I am super passionate about this because many of you know how I got into investing, and it was only because I had a co-op job in between my high school and college years, and it just happened to be at a brokerage firm. Hakeem, I don't know if you ever heard of, oh, you're gone. It was a brokerage firm in New York, and I lucked out and had someone who cared enough, a young, 28-year-old multimillionaire, to give me some.
What was the name of the brokerage?
Thompson McKinnon. Oh. That's a blast from the past. They'd have been told, yes.
That's the good old boy.
And literally worked for the president. And saying all that to say, had I not been put in that position, my parents, they invested in real estate, they invested in bonds, they had annuities, and they had retirements. But when it came to the stock market, that wasn't their thing. That wasn't their time. And I got introduced that way. And so when I see brilliant minds like Hakeem that are willing to help, put us in position, like, we need to understand how important it is to get in position. Child, go watch that. Go see that movie Sinners. Go see Sinners. Listen, we're going to have a whole other live video about that movie because we need to do for self. That movie is all about do for self. Oh my gosh, Hakeem, God is so good. God, listen. Anyway, saying all that to say, Hakeem has laid out so much information, but now it's your turn. Now it is your turn to, what do you say, Hakeem? Knowledge applied.
That gets results. Knowledge applied is what produces. That's the power.
That's the power.
Knowledge itself is not power. Knowledge applied is power. Absolutely.
And so lock in with someone like Hakeem who can help you in that way to apply the knowledge.
Here's a couple of nuggets for excellent points. Here's something I hear frequently, and I try to help people out when I hear this. People say, well, I got to do a little more research, and then I'm researching investments, and then I'm going to make a decision. And I typically ask them, what do you do for a living? And they say, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor, social worker. And I say, you do that full time? And they say, yes. And I say, what did you do to find your internist? If you're a female, your OBGYN, your dentist, what did you do to find them? You research them out by referral, got a good recommendation to those professionals, but you didn't start going online trying to become an OBGYN or a dentist.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do that. Whether it's me or someone else, find someone you can trust and not try to research how investments work, everything about investments. That's not what you're researching. Well, I want to research custodians. Well, here's another truth. All the custodians pretty much offer the same thing.
Yes.
It's like a bank. A checking account is a checking account, no matter where you get it. Now, some checking accounts have some fees, and some checking accounts, make you even pay for your ATM. Well, that's something you would research. But that advisor should share with you how they're compensated. And then that's going to answer that. And I've shared that multiple times. And then, so that's the kind of research you do when trying to make a decision. And then you want to make sure they speak your language. You speak their language. It's a good relationship of communication, because if you can't communicate well with each other, it's going to be a disaster.
Right.
So you don't want that. And I want to give a couple other little suggestions out if I can.
Absolutely.
That I think will help people in this time. Now, this is not a recommendation to say go buy it. This is something that we picked up today in the markets. And many people have asked me because they know I'm a student of Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, which taught him, and many of my mentors and so many other names as value style investors with a faith-based component overlaying value style investing. And so most people don't have $788,000 to buy one share of Berkshire. And some people buy a small fraction with fractional shares because they want to go to the annual shareholder meeting, which should be next week. And they have this share, they feel good and so forth. And then the B shares is $526, and you don't have the same rights as their share. So there is an ETF out now, and it's Omaha, OMAH. This is going to give you a good tracking of like the top 15 holdings that Buffett has in Berkshire. And Berkshire doesn't pay dividends because he believes in reinvesting that and he doesn't pay that to his shareholders. This ETF actually will pay a dividend. And so, don't go jumping in and say, Hakeem said so. No. If you work with us, we'll do the proper things, find out your risk, your tolerance, your everything, your ability to invest. And then we'll make a decision and help you make that if you become a client. If you don't do it with us, that person needs to help put you through all of the disclosures, all the risk tolerance, all the prospectus and everything before you go out there and get it. But this is a great way to be a part of Berkshire Top Holdings, and it's trading at roughly $19 a share versus $788,000 a share.
I was getting ready to pull up the screen. I have pulled it up on Yahoo Finance, but that's okay.
Nice.
So again, these are just little nuggets and tips that you're not going to get from, people that don't know and people that are not willing to communicate with you. I mean, there were many years that I had a brokerage account that I never ever spoke to a broker. I just let them do what they were going to do until someone wringed my neck and was like, what are you invested in? I don't know. But again, we have someone on our team. Listen, let me give a full you meeting with Hakeem. I just know I've known Hakeem for decades upon decades, and Hakeem is a good dude. And you don't find many, especially on Wall Street or related to Wall Street, because a lot of them are just super worried about the commission fee or the commission structure. They're salespeople. They're there to make goals. A lot of them. I'm not saying all of them, because like I said, I did meet a good one. But
here's another thing that I hear also. Just some things to help people to get out of procrastination.
Yes.
Because a vision without implementation is a hallucination. And so we don't want to have a dream and a vision and don't implement, because you can have a dream, and if you don't do anything with that dream, it actually reverts. You start off a vision, and if you don't implement it, it becomes a dream. And if you don't do anything about a dream, it becomes a nightmare. And if you don't do anything about the nightmare, it becomes a mausoleum. It's a place where stuff goes to die. And so, Hakeem, I don't have a whole lot of money. I know you need a lot of money to work with someone like you. No, that's why we gave you it at $100. And literally, if you only have $50 a month, we'll put you on a systematic investment and help you. So we literally want to remove every possible excuse so that, it's not going to be a politician helping our people. It's not going necessarily to be the church in itself, which is a great institution, the mosque, the synagogue in itself. They're great institutions, but they're not designed to help you specifically to get out of debt or to, get an investment program or get to retire. And, it's many people said they got my book. Thank you for that. I write about it. I spoke to too many of the heads over my life in the ministry. Tithing and offering is beautiful. But geez, if you don't give God a channel to funnel money to you, then it can't get to you. There was 4 rivers that irrigated the land out of Egypt. And you got to have at least 4 rivers to irrigate your land so that you can produce what you want to produce. And so if you are a giver, you got to have a channel for it to get back to you. And I gave the 4 ways you go into retirement already. I mentioned those. Another thing you should think about as a person: run your life like a business. Who are your board of directors? Who's your board of directors? You need a board of directors. It is probably not your family for one, but get good board of directors. And if you know anything about board members, they put a 2-year term in, a 1-year term in, a little longer. You know, they can come in and come out, but you want quality seasoned people to be a part of your board that's going to help you and speak about you in rooms that you're not in, and also help you achieve your business as an entity, because you are an entity. You're a CEO if you're a man in the house, and the wife is the CFO, or if you want to say she's the COO, and then the kids, maybe that's your board to start there. And you got to teach them how to navigate life, get off of chores, because we're not slaves. Put them on, business. Let them understand you take care of the house because it's your home, and pay them. That's a tax write-off. And you teach them how to be owners versus workers and stuff like that. So there's little nuggets like that you can just start employing in your life.
You definitely need a board of directors.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the only way we're going to excel. They have boards of directors. They have people to help them in their blind spot areas. And we have tons of blind spots, and we have access to people who can help us in these areas, but fear stops us a lot. And I just really wanted to, Ms. P, who said, don't stay frozen in fear. I refuse to stay stuck anywhere. And I went to school with people who refuse to go to see a broker because they're scared, because they're, oh my goodness, my FICO score number is so low, or I have student loan debt. And they're fearful because they think they're going to be judged by these experts. These experts done seen it all, heard it all, been through it all, seen bankruptcies, seen people fall down, get back up. You can have $50 to invest this month. Next year, this time, you can have $500,000 to invest. You just don't know how you can grow, and especially if you have a board of directors and someone like Hakeem. And so I just want to call out a couple people, Hakeem, before we let you go. This is Deidre. She says, Mr. Hakeem is indeed a warm-blooded, walking, talking financial reservoir. And everything I hear him saying makes so much sense with the dollar signs to me, with the hearts. Thank you so much for that. I think I know who this is. Hey, Kamani Varelia, if this is Kamani and not who I think it is, who's also from Truman Days.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Nikki says, thank you, Kim and Hakeem, for this valuable information. Much appreciated. Shell, yes, says, wow, the C Corp to finance a business is a gem. Yes. Shell is part of the MAGA community. And there was somebody else had something.
Here's another question you can put out there. If your viewers and listeners had access to 4 seasoned qualified professionals in key areas and have access, what would they be willing to pay for a entry-level position, for an advanced access, and for an entrepreneur access? And you have access at 3 tiers. What would you be willing to pay? How valuable will that be if you had ability to gain access to seasoned, talented people, not give you a bunch of fake stuff and a whole bunch of candy Disneyland nonsense that never produces, and hype and hope, but real stuff, keep you accountable, bring it to fruition, see successful, wash, rinse, repeat, duplicate, and scale.
So if you're hearing that, put it in the comments now. What would you be willing to pay? If you're seeing this on the other side of this live, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Hakeem is asking for your board of directors, who would be a part of your board of directors, right? Which would be 4 experts who will help you design your financial life, right? Is that what I'm hearing you say, Hakeem?
That is correct. That
Okay.
you absolutely. And I said 4. I'm with you. You do need 4, not because of inflation. You just need 4, absolutely, or more.
Okay. So yeah, how much would you be willing to pay? And I guess a question I would ask, Hakeem, is what type of access are you talking about? Are you talking about them, talking to you once a year? Or are you looking at once a quarter? Like
No,
how much access?
we would do maybe bi-monthly for an entry-level person. For an advanced person, maybe it's monthly. For an entrepreneur, maybe it's twice a month, something like that. It's not a coaching. It's not a TV kind of thing. It's a network. It's something where you just rain. Just it's a network.
Okay. So yeah, what price point would you be willing to pay based on the terms that Hakeem just laid out? Miss P says, add me to the list of people you retire, Hakeem.
Yes, this is true.
Do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Hakeem, I mean, Miss P done took advantage. Y'all better jump on this train. Y'all better literally.
She's added to that list. This is so true. This group will help you to reclaim. It'll help you to earn. It'll help you to be innovative. It'll help you to grow. And now you have access to talented people that's going to help you to reclaim the time that you felt you may have lost, and you need someone to help you to kind of reclaim that and get back on track. You want to earn, you've been earning well, now you want to earn more. And some say, well, geez, you don't want to earn more. Well, then earn more and give it away. How about that? You may need to innovate. You need someone to kind of, I got all these ideas, or you may be someone that have no ideas you think, but we all got some ideas. You may need someone to help you to pull those ideas out. And you want to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. And so, you got to keep growing. And it's not just a regular network, it's a revolution, is what I'm talking about. Revolutionize us as a people so we can do for self. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
I see all of them. So yeah, let us know in the chat. Let me see if anybody per month or somebody, Miss P says 250, maybe. I need a CPA, an attorney, a CPA, a business coach, and Hakeem.
Shout out to Miss P. That's what's up.
I knew it was you. Okay, wait a second. Per month or a subscription.
It would be a per month. Yep.
Per month. Okay. So Miss P per month. So, okay. She answered that. It is Edwina. Edwina is a Mustang. She's one of the Truman.
Shout out to Truman in the house.
My good girlfriend who actually came to visit me during my first scouting trip to Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Nice. That's what's up.
Hey, girl. So yeah, if you haven't liked this video, do that now. It will help get this out to people later on after we end this live. But again, this is a real group or community that Hakeem is referencing. And, he's, now is the time. Now is the time. And if you do go see the movie Sinners, all of this is aligning. We need to be in deep community with experts who care about us now more than ever.
Your own personal think tank. Like you see all these people, all these rich people have their think tanks, or political parties have their think tank. This in essence is yours. It could be yours.
Yeah. So everybody, I just saw one comment with the fee. Y'all think about it. Come back, put it in the comments. Again, if you're on the other side of this, let us know what type of fee you would be willing to pay. This is Hakeem's final week.
Alexa, quiet. Alexa's going off. I'm sorry. I put the mic off.
Okay. That's why I don't have Alexa, because Alexa will get on my nerves. But Hakeem has been with us for the past 5 weeks, dropping amazing information. The one thing I must say, Hakeem, don't go anywhere. Okay. I am also so passionate about this liberation, this job liberation conversation. And again, for some people that may be 50 years old, some people that may be 60, some people that may be 40. But some of my good women in the community have launched what do I call it? They have launched a summit. That's what I'm looking for. And it's taking place this May, and it's the 2025 Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. And that those dates are May 16th through the 18th. I am actually speaking on the 18th, and my conversation will be all about how to maximize your income by using your talents. And it's from someone who knows. And we all have talents. We all have ways. Christine just asked a question about how many revenue streams, 3 or 4. Child, 7 or 8 if possible. Like, this is not the time to limit ourselves if we don't have to. And some of this work, you have it in your wheelhouse. It just needs someone to pull it out of you. And I just really want to be a helping voice in this community. If you're interested in liberating from your job or adding additional revenue income streams to what you already bring in.
You can be a hairstylist and you do, blowouts, or you do, braids. Well, add additional services, do twists, do blowouts, do color, do braids. And now you've added multiple streams and still in your wheelhouse, and so forth. So there's many different ways.
There's so many. You can teach braiding online. Do you know how many people are making money doing things online now? So it adds convenience and comfort to people to not have to walk to a facility and do. There's so many ways to make discretionary income, and most of us just don't tap in to our natural resources, our natural gifts that have been bestowed upon us. And so join the 2025 job. Let me not mix it up. The 2025 Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, taking place May 16th through May 18th, with a host of dynamic women who are going to drop additional gems. Also, be sure to, I don't know if you see the comment, Hakeem, but be sure to sign up with Hakeem's services.
Excellent question.
Go ahead.
When you have, so if you come out of a tax season, end of the year, and you don't like how your taxes are turning out, and you're doing it, January, February, March, April, that's primarily what you didn't do the 12 months prior to. So when we invest and help you to save, we do tax strategies. We help you to maximize tax strategies. Our financial planning portal has the 1040 in there. So that will help you to track. So if you work with a CPA, that's going to reduce your cost right there, because you're going to deliver this to your CPA versus he or she, having to do a lot of these reportings for you if you put all the data in there. So tax strategies help reduce your taxes. And then when it's time to file them, you're better for it. First, a board of directors would be invaluable, but I would say first tier 200, second tier 300, 500, 3 to 5, and tier 3, 800 to 1,000. Nice. That's good feedback. Good feedback.
Oh, Christine wants to know if you're working on another book, Hakeem.
I am. I'm certain. I actually got a couple of books, including the one that's been out there, and some people have been buying it from mid last year to present. And I'm going to do a revamp on that one. And then I have another book that I am working on. I'm working on a couple books.
Wonderful. Edwin, I'm not sure what information about the gems you're talking about. There's so many different layers, but girl, I'll be in touch. We'll reach out. And your people from Mississippi, okay, go see Sinners, child, go see Sinners. But yeah, so again, I wanted to quickly just once again say thank you, Hakeem, for the past 5 weeks. The information you have shared for people who listen and pay attention is life-changing. It will be life-changing. Again, it may be scary at times because we have been taught to not talk about money, right? We have been taught that, money is the root of all evil, and that we should not be trying to. There's so many things, informed lessons that we need to correct sooner than later, right? Do it for your name, your legacy, your just yourself, right? Do it for yourself. And Hakeem is someone that I know. We all need a Hakeem in our life, right? And like somebody said, they want all the people and Hakeem. So, as long as Hakeem is part of the equation. So go ahead
Nice.
and contact Hakeem. I'm going to put his email address up one more time. You can find Hakeem at www.ncfainc.org. If you reach out to him for the consultation, let him know you are part of the Gym Nation.
Absolutely.
You found him on YouTube, or if you're part of the MAGA community, you can say that as well, so that you take advantage, or you're able to take advantage of the giveaway, I'm going to call it, but the deeply discounted offer that he is providing, and waiving the $13.50 that he normally charges as well. I don't know how long this offer is going to be available. Please respect his time. Like I mentioned earlier, if you contact him, just be prepared to pay the $100. It's $100, y'all. That's all I ask.
No gimmicks, no frills, no do it by midnight and wait.
Right.
One more thing. No, none of that.
The people, there we go. The people that I know who have already reached out to him, the ones that have taken advantage, have already given me great feedback. Go ahead, take advantage while you can, because when this offer's gone, the offer's gone. You'll have to pay the $13.50 plus the $300. So again, Hakeem, thank you so much. Your knowledge is impeccable. We'll see you again in the future.
Absolutely.
You
Thank you so much. Appreciate
happy
you.
birthday, Feliz
Thank you again.
God, all of the good stuff. Enjoy, and thank you for taking time on your birthday eve. Have a great birthday.
Appreciate you. You have a great one. Bye for now.
Take care. Let me see if there's any. Yes, everybody's saying he was helpful and inspired. Yes. Thank you. You're welcome, DV Mahoney. You're welcome, WM. Yes, and please reach out to Hakeem. Again, there are some things going on in this country that we can't control. There are a lot of things that are going on that we can control. Let us control the things we can and forget about the things that we can't. And like Christine just said, it is time to do for self. We're going to have a conversation probably on Sunday or Monday. Go see the movie Sinners. This whole do for self theme is all up and through. It is one of the best movies I have ever seen in my entire life. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. And Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo and all the great actors and actresses. Such powerful messaging. Go see the movie. We're going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about, because it ties into what is going on in this country, what goes on amongst our communities, the lessons that we have been stripped away from decades of, control. And so anyway, with that being, the timing couldn't be perfect. So we're going to talk more about that as well. Sign up for the summit if you're interested in, liberating from your job and or generating discretionary income. The person who goes on before me is Libria Jones, and she talks about finding remote, work from home, how to not have to go to a corporate environment every single day. And I'm sure there's some nuances with all the changes going on in the country. You have Stephanie Perry, you have Dr. Kamani, we interviewed her as well. She's a toxic job liberator. Marissa Price is the co-host. They will be guests coming up. Well, Dr. Kamani will be back around the first week of May. Next week, we have a live with a sister friend who will be part of the Exodus community soon, moving far, far away. And she will be here to share some of her story. And then the following week, we have some great lives coming up from some people that I'm very proud of, that are part of the accountability community. And they are going to be sharing some of their talents with the Gym Nation, and I can't wait for that. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed already. Oh, thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the summit is a virtual summit, Deirdre. The link is in the description, and it's a virtual summit, so you can only attend online. I'll put the link in one more time if you're interested in finding out more or registering. But again, and then you could also get the replays. You don't have to put, oh, matter of fact, it's private. So you're not going to be on camera, because, people talking about liberating from their job, not everybody wants to show their face. So it will be only available digitally. And I just put the link back in. Oh, Christine did as well. Thank you so much, Christine. But it's powerful. Actually, let me see. I might be able to pull it up real quick. Just to whoever's here, you could see who the speakers are. I just want you to see who the speakers are. But I'm going to talk about it again on some upcoming lives. But let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. 2025 Job Liberation Summit. Okay. No, John. So let me know in the chat if you have already seen Sinners. Curious to know. Very curious to know. It was such a good movie, and as it was actually, but it was amazing. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I do know I highly encourage everyone to see it and take away what you can. So I'm about to share the summit with you. Present, share screen. Okay. So hopefully you can see it now. And I'll just quickly go through the speaker page. So here's just a quick, some of the most notable names: Dr. Kamani Norrington Sands, Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow, Alicia Renice, Libria Jones, Halisi from Our Black Utopia. There I am. There's Kim with the Gems. And again, you can read more about them. But the anti-HR consultancy doctor. Well, I call her doctor. But I remember when she had relocated to, it was either Lake Chapala or Ajijic, Mexico. This was a few years back. So yeah, go ahead, get your ticket. The link is in the description. You're going to learn. So I could have showed you what some of the topics are going to be. Hold on a second. Let me see if I could show you that real quick. And then we'll be out of here, just so you can see if any of these topics resonate with you. Schedule. So you'll have the Welcome Summit kickoff, then you'll have Internal Freedom First Session. Welcome to Day 1, Job Detox 101, how to liberate yourself from a job that's draining you. Intentionally creating your post-liberation life. Identifying safe workspaces for Black LGBTQ plus employees. Reclaim your breath, a stress relief toolkit for Black women. Take your power back, own your skills, and rebuild your self-worth. Vision your liberation and desire. Vision your liberation, desire and permission. Restoring you, reclaiming creativity as a sacred act of healing. Releasing stress, a healing Afro flow yoga session. Let's wind down. That's day 1. And then day 2, which is the day, I think that's, I'm on that day. Yes. Okay. Day 2 is a welcome, the strategy of freedom, how fire helps you leave and live fully. That's the financial fire plan, I guess. Um, Passport to Prosperity, How to Make Money from Anywhere, Rebrand and Rise, Building Your Personal Brand for a Bold Career Pivot, Liberation and Longevity, Enduring Wellness Beyond the Toxic Workplace, Skills Pay the Bills, Leveraging Your KSAs to Level Up. Libria's is How to Find Remote Work, Secure Flexible and Aligned Opportunities. Then here I go with How to Maximize Your Income by Leveraging Your Talents. We all have talents that can be leveraged, and it just sometimes takes someone to pull those out of you and show you how to generate income from it. And I've been doing this a long time. So I'm looking forward to sharing some insight there. And then make your legal exit strategy, what to know before you quit. And then it's the wrap up. So that's the full session. Hopefully, if this resonates with you, you'll be able to join. If not, you will share with someone that you know, because many of us are looking for some type of freedom. And if not only for some type of freedom, you're looking on how to generate more income, right? So that you can invest more for your retirement, so that you can take that move abroad or that sabbatical, so that you can start that franchise or whatever. So anyway, hopefully all of this was helpful. It was such a pleasure seeing you again on the 5th week of having Hakeem. What a gift, what a talent. Listen, I am a money revenue generating geek. So when I get talent like that to give us that much time, all is right with the world. So hopefully you will imply the knowledge that you received, reach out to Hakeem if you need more understanding, and take advantage of the resources that are being brought to you, because you'll be better for it. The best time to have planted a tree was 10 years ago. Let me do that again because StreamYard wanted to act up. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is right now, today, right? So take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented to you right now, today. Like I said, I keep my Mamba Mentality book here as a reference if I ever need a stroke of just how amazing we can be with some guidance, with some coaching. I reach for that. I have Richard Williams' book about, anyway, find you something that will keep you motivated, to let you know that we deserve all the things we need to believe that, and we need to release the fears from any flaws and hiccups that we've had in our past. With that being said, I thank you all. Yes, ready to be shackle free, 100%. And it may not happen overnight, but it may happen quicker than you think it can. So anyway, thank you, Gym Nation. Hit that like button. I will see you next week, Tuesday, with our next guest live. So pay attention to the community board or the community post here. I will post more information about that by or before this weekend. And we're going to have a centers conversation. So I'll figure out the timing around that. And yes, as Christine says, be about that action. Or as we like to say here with the Gym Nation, right? It's be about that action. Thank you all. You have a great evening, and we will see each other either Friday. I might do a walk and talk too. We'll see what the weather's like, but we'll talk about centers either Sunday or Monday. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. Go see centers. Sign up for Job Liberty.